It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Tony Ziegler. Welcome to the Tony Ziegler Show, speaking creatively, or creatively speaking. And I want to welcome my fine guest, Vera Rulon.
Rulon, yes.
So, Vera, tell us something about yourself.
Well, since this is creatively speaking, I guess my claim to fame is all around drawing where I see a canvas. And I see canvases everywhere, so napkins, chopstick wrappers, business cards, just about anything. I've drawn on wrapping paper that came off gifts.
Have you drawn on cars?
That I have not. That's actually a great idea.
You could draw on my car.
Yeah.
I have magnets.
Yeah. So really drawing on anything. So I did start a Facebook page called Art by Vera, where you can go and kind of see my travels. And I also capture, what I do is I capture specific moments, the details around a specific event. Maybe if I'm going out to dinner, or maybe I'm at a conference, and there's some really key topics that I really want to share with people.
What kind of topics?
I'm really focused on aging. That's my main topic right now, and so.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. But
I think you've aged well.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Tony. So that really is my key topic. I've been in the healthcare field all my life, mostly behind the scenes, health information management. But through my travels, I've done some work with aging, healthy aging, across the lifespan. I've done work in patient engagement. And advocacy, and so what I'm doing now is I'm, getting up in years, is I really want to tie my art to those key elements
of aging.
Yeah.
Goo goo gaga.
So, I can talk more about some of the things I've been doing with my art, and some of the connections I've made.
It's your forum.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm just here to present you.
So I'd say this whole napkin drawing thing, the way it all started was we were once down in New Orleans visiting with some really close friends, and we went out to dinner, and we were sitting there, and there was a paper tablecloth, so I couldn't resist. So I drew the whole dinner party on a tablecloth, and that's really what started it all.
Well, do you have an example of your work?
I do. I'm actually working on something as we speak, and I'll hopefully finish this up by the time we're done.
Well, let's see it now, and then you can show it at the end.
Oh, okay. You got that? Okay, great.
Excellent.
So it's really capturing a detail to help you remind you of the event and bring back the key things that you learned during it. So it started with that, and then I just started drawing, taking a photograph. But the real key about it is that I don't keep the drawings that I do. I leave them wherever I happen to draw them.
I found a couple times.
Yes, yeah. I think if you go around town in Nyack here, you might see some in some of the restaurant venues.
You did a portrait of me. We did a show together.
Yes,
portrait
we
shared.
did. Yes, we did.
And too bad it was the whole book was stolen, but that's another story.
Yeah,
but I still have the documentation.
And do you remember what I drew you on? It was
napkins. You did 3 portraits on a napkin.
On a napkin,
and I think it was at the Art Cafe.
Yep. So that kind of evolved. So I'll give you 2 examples of where I've been able to take what I do in terms of these little vignettes and turn them into something that's helpful. So one is when Maria Luisa Boutique was opening up her new annex, doing a grand reopening. And so she invited me to come and do little vignettes. I did 4 napkin drawings throughout, her stores. And then we framed them and we auctioned the 4 off to benefit Keep Rockland Beautiful.
Wow,
So,
what
you
a
know,
great
if you think
cause.
about it, something you would normally throw away, a napkin, was then recycled to create, you know, a piece of artwork.
What a
So,
great idea.
yeah, yeah, and
You're
I would love. I
You're
would
a
love to-
genius.
yeah. And then I parlayed that into something a little bit grander. I was invited to the American Health Information Management Association, my professional association, to capture their leadership symposium last July.
Wow.
But I didn't use napkins in that one, but I did go around
I'm
the
not gonna
entire
say what I'm
venue.
thinking,
yeah.
but you tell us
no,
what
no,
you
no, no.
used.
I used regular drawing paper, but I
Oh.
went around and I captured these small vignettes throughout the whole conference. And I put together a huge poster board which just like mapped out what happened during the conference,
Wow.
including the key points that were made, you know, along
Wonderful.
the top. And so that was actually auctioned off at their silent auction at their national convention. So again, you know, I was able to parlay what I do into something that would
It's
be
really
beneficial.
wonderful that, because art, like life, is just temporary anyway.
Yes, yes, it is. You know, so I'm hoping that I can find that really unique way to be able to pair, and I'm still working on that, especially this whole healthy aging and the use of technology to support aging, as well as really engaging patients and people.
When you say incorporate, how are you going to incorporate napkins with technology?
Ah, that's a good question. The napkins are a medium to help relay key points. So my vision is to take, you know, my unique way of creating this. It's almost like temporary art that I displace and I leave and I give out, to be able to capture key points, whether it's something personal to an individual or whether I'm targeting something that's really important right now with regards to aging, is loneliness and social isolation. So if I can capture
have a
these
list.
moments on which I
That's a big one, because I worked
Yeah.
in nursing homes for
Oh,
22
yeah.
years
yeah.
in hospitals.
Yeah, yeah,
so-
and you know, actually, I can get on my soapbox a little bit.
Well,
so
that's
the
good. Get on
loneliness,
it.
loneliness.
Wait a second. Where is your soapbox?
yeah, yeah.
Is it,
you can imagine.
Arm
it.
and Hammer?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I mentioned someone's name.
Yeah. Free advertising, right? The real key here is, yes, loneliness and social isolation, but if people can find a purpose in life, and it might change as you get older, but if you have that purpose in life, then all those other things tend to kind of diminish. And that's where I think technology can come in, because it can help you make connections.
Absolutely.
It can help you do work from your home if you're not mobile and you need to, and you really feel like you need to contribute.
I just saw a great movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
He was paraplegic and he had a car accident and became that. And it was a true story. And he started drawing with two hands with a flare,
Oh.
and he became real famous.
Uh-huh.
The character, you know, the
Yep.
true person.
Yep.
Wonderful movie. The name of it slips my mind. Well, I'm aging too.
Yeah, that's okay. What we'll do is in the comments section, we'll make sure we reference it, right?
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is that this whole pairing art with healthcare is nothing, it's not new.
Not at all.
And there are some individuals, and I'm going to talk about one in particular, who has really advanced and really is helping art help people.
And who's that?
That's Regina Holiday.
Oh, yeah, she's wonderful.
Yes, so Regina started what's called the Walking Gallery of Healthcare.
Actually, I think I'm a member.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Tony. And what Regina does, and I'm not going to go into detail about her story. Maybe a little bit later I might say a little bit about it. But suffice it to say, she went through a very difficult time when her husband got ill and then passed away. And so she took that and her artwork and agreed that she needs to leverage this to be able to get the word out and to change things in the healthcare system. You want to have access to your personal health data.
Absolutely.
You know, you want to have access to
So
health
important.
care. You want to have the ability to understand what's happening to you so you can take charge and take action.
And we won't talk politics today.
No politics, please.
That could be a 4-hour show.
So what Regina did is she, at the time, lived in Washington, D.C., and she created a large mural on the wall of a building called 73 cents, and that referenced how much it was going to cost her per page to get her husband's medical records. Wow. It was, and it was going to be a long time to receive them.
This.
Yeah. So she painted her husband's story on this. Wow. And then she realized that you have to go to this mural in order to see and experience the story that she was trying to tell. So she started this movement called the Walking Gallery, where she will paint for you, or you can paint your own, or an artist can paint for you your story, your patient's story on the back of a jacket.
Do you have any examples of the work?
I do. I'll show them in just 1 minute.
Okay.
And the idea is that you go to healthcare conferences where you never see patients there. It's starting to change, but you don't see patients at these healthcare conferences where they're trying to find solutions to the problems in healthcare.
Well, as we get age, I think somebody called it advanced on the show. And as we get more advanced, we become the patients. Even though we're still professionally involved, we're the patients.
Yeah, we're the
so,
patients.
So we can go to conferences as patients and share our experience as patients with the other professionals.
Yeah, exactly. And caregivers, too. And as a matter of fact, I'll just quickly show
no problem.
the jacket that Regina painted for me, which is my patient story, where you see both my sister and myself taking care of my mother, who was in home hospice. And there's a long story behind this because the family really came together. So this is Regina's handiwork, and she's created, I think there's over 400 jackets now, and there are multiple countries represented too. So I just wanted to make sure we share that.
I see you have 3 jackets here.
I do have 3 jackets. I have this one, and then I have 2 that I painted myself. I have one where, as I was talking about aging and technology, about the importance of technology to leverage it as we're trying to solve healthcare problems. And this one in particular was relieving social isolation with technology, where you see people in different parts of the world accessing through their cell phones information and connecting to each other. And then the third one I wanted to share is where I took my whole theme around drawing on napkins.
Oh, with all the jackets.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah. So this is an example of quite a few of the actual jackets. So there's people in here that I think might recognize their jackets. And so what I did here is I was on my way to the HIMSS conference, which was a big conference in Las Vegas, but I had a conference in Los Angeles just before. So what I did was planning was to fly back home for the weekend and then go out to this big health information conference. Well, I got snowed out. All the flights were canceled. So
I think I talked to you that day. I'm not sure.
This was my compromise. I always have drawing utensils with me. So this is with a Sharpie on a cloth napkin. Wow. So I wore this, and I shared it with Regina.
Now.
Yeah, I shared it with Regina at the HIMSS conference, and so this was my jacket that I wore for that particular conference. So that was fun. That was fun.
I bet it was. Can I show my?
Yes, absolutely. I want to see Tony's.
Okay. This was mine. It's gone through several jackets, and this is mine. This is about my kidney transplant. I don't know if you can see this. It's saying, Ziegler again? And here's my new kidney going in, and it tells the story right there. And I've talked in many hospitals about it. It's a wonderful thing to be part of.
It really is. And so, there are other healthcare professionals that have started more healthcare oriented. And the other thing that Regina does is she started something in her hometown, which is in the boondocks in Maryland, where I drove out for one of her conferences last year. I had to go through fog and mountains and valleys.
My God.
And
It sounds like you're going over Hook Mountain.
But she, it's bigger and foggier.
Yeah.
But she started something called Salt and Pepper Studios, where patients can actually come and stay there and experience artwork and do a little respite
She's
and
my
regroup.
Idol.
Yeah. But it's I think we don't give art and all the arts. I'm not
No, I
just
understand what
not
you're
just
saying.
visual,
Right.
music,
Well, music,
prose, poetry, all of it.
in my
is-
experience, music has been the key to get to people. And
Mhm.
then once you get them with the music, you can do all sorts of things.
Well, as you know, there is music therapy and some of the benefits for even patients with dementia that can help bring back memories
Absolutely.
that makes them just that little bit more conversational and, enough to connect
Yeah.
with people, which I think is just amazing.
I always played music. I found out their age and found out what they listened to when between 14 and 21, and played that music
Yes.
because that's where they connect, and then you open them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, and then you learn so much.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about other things I can be doing. I
You go
just,
roller skating.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know. People don't know, but I broke my foot last year. Mid last year. So I think
know, that's why
roller skating is out of the
I've
picture
never
for me.
been able to do it. And I have enough head injuries. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, writing books and all that. But really, this whole aging paradigm, and I think aging is something we should start thinking about probably as soon as we're born. It's not
Well,
something
you're born to, I hate to say it, but you're born to die.
Well, yeah.
Basically. I mean, that's
but
extreme,
not being quite so morbid.
No, that's not morbid to me.
But you do start aging as soon as you're born,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
As soon as you're born, you're your first year. When you get to your first birthday, you're in your second year.
Mm-hmm. And
And then when you say when you're older, you're like, well, I'm in my 67th year, and your birthday's 66, or on and on.
Yeah,
Some people get upset.
Yeah.
You're making me older.
Well, that perceptions of what old means are very different, depend on who you speak to, and even around cultures in different
Absolutely.
countries.
I say elder.
Elder, but like at what age do you think old? When you see someone, when you think about an age that you can say, okay, this person is old. What is that age to you?
I don't say old. Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
That's excellent.
I've had 100-year-old clients, and I was their only family left.
Oh.
I became their family. I never say old. And I
That's
don't
good.
say, when I say retired, I say I have Michelins now.
Yeah.
And disabled for the car on the side of the road. I just
Yeah.
can't do what I used to be able to, even though
Right.
we keep trying, right?
We do, and
And then I have to say, oops, stop.
some of the things we've doing and some of the research that I had been involved in, at least from an advisory panel perspective and everything, are things like mobility, or how do you continue to have a purpose in life if you can't get around
I
as
never
well as
say
you
can't.
used to.
Never say can't.
Yeah.
Because if you say you can't, you won't.
And the other thing, this just popped into my head, so it's kind of related. One of the
popcorn.
Yeah. One of the things that always comes up is, so we make all this technology to help old people. Why aren't they using it? Right?
Old. You said old. When
did.
when is old for you?
Yeah.
40?
I don't know. The older I get, that needle moves. I don't feel old, so.
You don't look
Yeah.
old. You look fabulous.
But
So I'm
use.
saying I think you're 38 myself.
Oh, you're such a charmer.
So, and I could tell so many stories, but this is about you.
Well, yeah. So this whole piece about technology, which is a lot of the work that I've been doing for my clients, is around aging and technology. And people ask, why aren't people using the technology that is being developed? Well, there's a couple of answers to that. First off, have you asked what people need? You can't design on what you think they need.
No.
Right? And
Well,
have we encountered?
Especially if you have some kid designing it.
Right.
What he thinks.
Yeah,
you need games, or
exactly.
you need to be like this.
Yeah.
When we're going like this.
Yeah. Well, not everybody.
Me. That's me.
So, that's one thing, is that you really need to understand and immerse yourself, and better yet, co-design. So,
Yes.
And then the other thing is when you design something, and a colleague, someone that I've worked with in the past, a little bit, her name is Charlotte Yee, and she's the chief medical officer for AARP Services.
Oh boy.
And she always says when you design, don't design for older people, design for everybody.
Correct.
And the example that she uses is curb cuts. Those were originally curb cuts. So when you're walking,
cups,
right? Yeah, those were originally created so that people in wheelchairs and those disabled could actually get around in
there was
in
a
a
law
town.
passed. American
Disabilities Act.
Yeah, I remember when that
And,
was a big deal.
But who uses that curb cut more than anyone? And those are young mothers with children in strollers.
That's
so
right.
it was designed for disabled,
I
but
use
it
it all the
works
time.
for
Otherwise, I trip.
Yep. Well, especially when I was in my cast
Oh,
for my foot,
Don't talk to me about
And
cast,
that was an eye opener for me, because you don't realize, and actually Charlotte went through the same thing, and then she realized that the cane looks like this institutional thing, or the walker looks like, so she has been on this big track of it shouldn't look like that.
No.
It should be whimsical, it should be
I
happy,
have
it should
made
be
some
something that fits your life.
I've made some custom canes for myself.
Yeah. Awesome. You should meet Charlotte then.
I would love to.
Yeah.
It's actually on my bucket list.
Yeah. So, those are all the things that we have to think about, we're all aging all the time. The things that people experience when they get older, and maybe they experience it more frequently because that's just the nature of biology, but those are things that people can experience earlier in life, whether it's through some kind of a disease or a disability that they have. So
Sure.
design for everybody.
That's key.
Yeah.
So key.
Yeah. And there's an art involved in that too.
Absolutely. And, we're all sharing this planet together.
That's right.
And everyone's going to get, as you say, older. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're 16, you think, this is
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, so...
It's coming along nice.
Yeah. I'm probably talking too much to get this done faster, but,
No,
but here we are.
No, we'd rather hear you talk.
Yeah.
You have so much to say. We could do 10 shows.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I don't know
You
about
always say that. And that's his motto. I forget even what you said.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
that's
know
what
about
my
that.
motto is. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd be curious to see, because I do every once in a while kind of look around to see about napkins.
Okay.
Like if people do artwork on napkins. What I usually see is like back of the napkins or architectural drawings or things like that. And so, okay. So, I'm curious to see if other people do that. And I've seen a few contests around napkins. So Tuaca is one. They do some kind of a liqueur. And I know they do.
I saw something about that. I laughed at it, actually.
Yeah.
I said, oh.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been, over the last couple of years, doing things on napkins.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote a poem about you. And
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I said, Vera's got nothing on me. I'll show you some one day.
Uh-huh.
I got a lot of them.
Oh, cool.
In Phoenix, I went to this one restaurant every day,
Uh-huh.
and I used to do napkins. And they didn't understand it. And I put napkins out, and people looked at it, threw it away. I don't care. And some people kept them.
Yeah, like I said, there are some places that actually have them displayed behind the counter.
Yeah.
Or actually, I have in Bermuda at the Frog and Onion.
Wow.
They have several of mine, and there I would draw on coasters because that was the only thing they had.
Coasters are wonderful.
Yeah.
And do they serve frog there?
Oh, no, they don't. That's more in relation to the different ethnicities that started. So frog is the French, and I think onion was Irish, but the frog was definitely related to French.
Yeah. Frog legs are good, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had them once.
Yeah.
Long time ago, I don't even remember. It tastes like chicken, right?
Everything,
Yeah.
everything. Rattlesnake tastes like chicken. I've done my fair share of experimenting with foods.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's actually fun, to try new things.
In fact, I think that's more, sometimes I like making food better than drawing.
Oh, really?
It's more consumable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You
There's
get
no
something
trace.
out of it. Yeah.
You just make poop.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry. Well, since we were talking about aging, it's a major conversation.
But that's something that happens all across your life. So.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I have a couple of things for you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have a little bag.
Oh.
As a gift.
Oh, well, thank you. See, I've drawn on bags too.
I'd like
You want me to open it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start. We have a banana.
That's for you.
Excellent. I love bananas.
And that's our theme song.
Yep.
And this is a little box. You should open it.
I will, but I want to show that there's a pencil in
now
here too.
This is the perfect pencil by Faber-Castell. And they invented the number 2 pencil.
Ah, very good. That'll go into my repertoire. Ah.
And this is a piece of sky.
Ah,
so
that's
you always have a
lovely.
piece of sky with you.
Ah, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Maybe I can show this to the camera. Can you see that? A piece of sky.
And I have thousands of them.
And it's signed by Mr. Tony Ziegler.
Oh, thank you, Mr. That's so important. So, is there anything else in there?
Nope, that's all we got.
And I have one request.
And this is?
To sign your signature on this piece of paper.
Sure.
And, can you reach down there?
Certainly. What do you need? The whole box?
Just put a box here, okay? Perfect. Now,
hopefully that came out okay.
It will.
And
you're very photogenic.
Yeah, thank you. And what I'll do is I'm going to finish this up, and this will definitely be posted on my Art by Vera page and my Art by Vera group, and I will link it to the recording, and
excellent.
We'll have the final.
Are you going to show the audience?
Yeah, and I'm not finished yet, but
well,
you can see where we are. Okay.
That's good. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Almost as good, beautiful as you.
Oh, thank you so much, Tony.
And I have to say one thing about aging and hearing. My hearing aids, I'm almost deaf, and I can't understand names anymore. And I want to shout out to everyone at Brooklyn Audiology Associates in Brooklyn, where I get my hearing aids. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't hear anything. And I'd like to thank my esteemed guest, Vera Rulon. Esteemed, like, woo!
Yeah.
And we'd like to thank Richard for having us, and we could say goodbye.
All righty, bye-bye.
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.